Hi. So I just got back from visiting my new host family. As you can tell, I'm soaked. I'll get to that story later. So after school, I went to Astrid's. She wasn't home yet, so I rang the doorbell a few times, then went for a walk in the woods before it was raining. It wasn't raining at this point. Then just waited on the doorstep for her to come home. She was picking up Marlene, so then Marlene didn't know I was coming today, so she was really surprised, and she was really excited to speak German with me because before we didn't speak German. And yeah, so now we went to go get fish, or no, we ate fish for supper. Sorry, I've been speaking German all day. My English is, but you know. So we ate fish, and Marlene took extra vegetables, which when I was there before, she had a problem with eating vegetables. She was really picky, and you know, a bit like my brother. And yeah, and now she took 2 helpings of vegetables, like big piles of broccoli. And yeah, and then I helped her with her English homework, but she's really good at English, so I didn't really help her that much. And then I helped her with her German homework, which was kind of interesting. In French, it's called a dictée. I'm not really sure what it's called in English or in German, but when you read a sentence out loud and then you have to write it down and have correct punctuation and correct spelling. So it was hard because I couldn't really pronounce all the words right, but she told me that I did it better than Astrid did, because Astrid would say it like, the dog went to the store, and would put pauses in weird places, so she didn't know where to put the punctuation, and she liked helping me say the fun words. So, like, I don't know, in German there seems to be a lot of compound words that are just long. So you look at it and you're like, well, here's all the syllables, but you can't break it up like that. You have to be like, here's a word and another word, and you have to say it like that. Then it was time to go, and I went to meet my 3rd host family now. Her name is also Elke, and she lives just around the corner, well, 2 bus stops away from my first host family. And so we had some coffee and some cake. We did the whole cafe drinking thing. Sorry, I have the hiccups or the coughs, or coughing. I'm not really sure what yet. And then yeah, then she had to go pick up her son because he was getting tutored for math. And then she came back. Astrid was also with me, so we talked a while she was gone. She only got like 5 minutes. She came back and we talked about, you know, like her son's going to Pittsburgh for half a year next year, so she was saying, what did I do to get ready to come here, and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, you have to go to the embassy and get all this fun stuff. And yeah, so then she showed me where I would be sleeping. I have a small room downstairs, a big closet, my own television, my own stereo. Then there's a kitchen beside that has my own fridge, so I can put stuff in there if I want, which is kind of nice being a vegetarian, you know. And then the living room, there's another living room downstairs for television. The living room upstairs is just for, like, social. And then she said she'd show me the rest when I got back, like when I would actually move in. I don't move in until after the German trip. The way it works is, I stay here for a while, and then the day before I go for the German trip, I live with my counselor overnight. I bring everything with me. So I'm gonna have to pack my things so that one is just my stuff and the other one's what I'm taking with me for German trip. Then I do the German trip, and then I come back to my counselor's because the other family is gonna be away on holiday. Then I move in. So I'm gonna be homeless or whatever for 2.5 weeks. So I was there till, well, it's 5:30 now, so I guess I was there till 4:30. And then Astrid said, okay, well, they were doing something tonight because Astrid and her are best friends, and they were going. Right now there's a literature convention, so they were going to hear a guy read. So then she dropped me off at Bushaltestelle. What is that in English? A bus stop. A bus stop. And I looked at the chart, and it only comes once every hour, and it came at 51 after the hour, and at that point it was only like 5 after the hour. So I said, well, I'll start walking. I mean, it's better than standing in this rain. I might as well be getting somewhere. So as I was walking, it started to really rain, like pour, So I got to the next bus stop and it had a little shelter, but if I stood there I was still getting wet. So I took out my book bag and I put on my mittens, my Canadian Olympic mittens, put up my hood, I had a jacket, like it's not for warmth, it's just a windbreaker, but it was enough to keep me not wet. Like you can see here, I'm a little bit wet here and here, but I'm not actually here. And yeah, so then I started walking, and I made it maybe 3 more bus stops, and all these cars kept driving by and splashing me. Not just a little splash as if they tried to avoid the pothole, I swear they were trying to get me soaked. And one moment, I need a Kleenex because, you know, it's wet. Yeah, much better. And then this nice little Oma comes over, and she pulls over her truck and she says something to me, and I have no idea what she's saying because her window, she's only gotten her window halfway down at this point, and she's screaming across the car, right? Like she's here and I'm there, so she's screaming across the car, and I'm like, was bitte? And then she drives away, and I'm like, oh, was that a drive? Because I totally would have taken that. But it's just the street was so narrow, so she had to drive a little bit so the car could get behind her. And then she pulls up again, and she says, oh, like, I'm translating, she spoke to me in German. She said, oh, it's not very nice weather, where are you going to? And I said, I'm going to Leverkusen, which is basically just down the street, but down 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 farms. So it's quite a way down. And she's like, oh, well, it's really icky out, like, come get a ride with me. And I'm like, well, you're an Oma, like, what are you gonna do? And she had crutches and stuff with her, so I'm like, you're not gonna beat me up. So I got in, and she's like, oh, you have a really cute dialect, where are you from? I told her I was from Canada, I was at Oslo. And she's like, oh, when I was your age, we didn't have that, that's pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. And she turned up the heat to help me warm up. And yeah, so she drove me to where my bus stop would have been, because she was going to gymnastics because her back hurt. And yeah, so then I got there, and I have to go pick up my bicycle because I left it at school. So I walked down the street, a few streets, got more soaked, and got my bicycle, which was completely soaked, like the seat was soaked and everything, and biked home. So that was my really fun wet adventure, and it was really wet. My pants are soaked, but only at the top because, you know, I was riding a bicycle, and I was wearing leggings underneath. I have no idea why today I was wearing leggings, but I was. That's wet. And it was really helpful. That's wet too. I guess where my book bag was. Yeah. So now I have to start packing, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, that was my fun wet adventure, and I'm gonna probably go take a hot shower even. Bye.